All right. Back again. I know, second day in a row. I might be breaking records here. Um, this time, not here to talk about any top tens or anything. Here to do some more Canadian content. We're going to talk about, bring you up to date a little bit on some of what some of the Canadians overseas have been doing. Going to try to just stick to a few countries because if you want to hear, let's just tabarnak. Hopefully, this is just the list of Canadian men playing overseas, and I accidentally just closed the women's list. So I can't unfortunately show it to you, and I really don't want to go searching through my Google Drive for it. But there is a lot of Canadians playing volleyball overseas. Right now, my men's list goes from 1 to, let's see, J Blanks, last but definitely not least, at 63. So that's 63 Canadian men playing overseas. We've got, you see, Austria, Czech Republic, Denmark, Germany, France, Italy, everywhere. And I also know that, like, in fact, like, I know that there's 2 players in Luxembourg that I don't have here on this list. But just goes to show that I can't give you an update of every single Canadian and what they're doing right now. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to stick to kind of the top tier leagues. I don't know if I'll even get to all of them, but today I'm going to try to go through kind of Italy, Turkey, Poland, and Russia. And if I'm lucky and I'm still feeling good and we still got time, then we'll jump into Germany and France. But that's probably what would be at the most. But still, as you can see, there's a lot of Canadians playing overseas. And this, once again, this is just the men. It's the women. It's a little bit less, but the women are kind of at an all-time high right now as well, and it's great to see. So without kind of bringing this along too long. Let's get started. First, we're going to start in Italy with the men in the Superlega. Obviously, this is what everyone considers to be, the best league in the world. So why not start there? Why not start there and talk about it? Especially because there's 5 Canadians in the Superlega, which is crazy. It's one of the highest total of foreigners of any country. So yeah, there's that. Not to mention, up until like today, for the last little while, we've had 3 Canadians in the top 3. The top, not 3 Canadians in the top 3, that'd be insane, but 3 Canadians in the top 20 of scoring in the Superliga, which is huge. So we're going to break all of that down to see kind of who's been there. So first up on our list, we're going to start with the highest is Allianz Milano. So playing in Milan, we've got Mr. Stephen Marr. Marr has been having a huge year. He, oops, I did not mean to do that. And I mean, Marr has, he came into the Superliga. He came into Italy right away. He spent 1 year in Russia, and I mean, since then, he's really been the first Canadian to really make the Superliga his home, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. But he's been having a pretty good year. Once again this year, as you're seeing him down here, 235 points in 17 games. He's been hitting at he has a 44.2 kill percentage and hitting at a 36% efficiency, which is pretty damn good. And I mean, for a while there, Milan was kind of struggling, and he really put the team on his back for a while. He's played a little bit on the left side, he's played a little bit on the right side, but Stephen Marr has been impressive. And he was also earlier this year was I'm still trying to get new to this new podcasting program here, but as I talked about earlier this year, Steve Marr was also the first Canadian to reach 1,000 Superliga points, which is absolutely massive, and I think that's not something that we should kind of just throw away. There's a lot of ads on my website right now. Wow. But yeah, huge for Stephen Marr and kind of his career, especially because he's still young, and he's still able to. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him break 2,000, 3,000 Superliga points, given that he stays in the Superliga and everything goes well. But still, on the path of a great career. So going back here, we see that they are currently 8th in the standings. They've got one game at hand. They did pick up a very good 3-2 win over Modena, who's just one spot ahead of them in the standings. But 8th gets them into the playoffs. Sure, they're gonna have to play Perugia, but all in all, like Milan hasn't had a bad season altogether. It's just recently that they've dropped. At one point, they were as high as 3rd. They did suffer an injury to their right side, Jean-Patry, from France, and that's why Mar had to kind of play on either side of the pin. But you know what? I'm not really going to get into too much. I've been frustrated a little bit watching Milan play this year, not because of Mar, but just because of their coaching. The decisions that they make sometimes is a little bit weird. You can tell that, in my opinion, they really, really want to feature Ishikawa, but Mar has been having an absolute banger of a season for them. 235 points, second in the team behind Ishikawa. And has really, as you can see here, Ishikawa is hitting at a 48%. Well, Mar is hitting at a 44. Never mind. Ishikawa's doing much better, and his efficiency is okay. Maybe I'm just an Ishikawa hater because he's stealing the spotlight from my boy Mar, but still, doesn't matter. Mar's been having a massive season. And let's see, do I have the... Yeah, so here's the top 20 in scoring. So we're going to see down here, Steven Mar in 16th, and he had breached the top 10 at one point. But if you go into the article, you read about how I thought this would happen, how you drop down, because as Tini Earnout came in to Milan, they're going to want to spread out the offense a little bit more, and that's kind of exactly what happened. But still, very good season so far for Steven Mar at Milan. There's some rumors going around that he might be going to Resovia next year to play in the Polish Plus Liga. But once again, these are complete rumors that we've just heard on our Discord channel. Once again, if you want to join the Discord, just comment down below. I might have it linked, or if not, head over to the website, volleyballsource.ca, and you can find the links for the Discord there. Since I think we've had 5 or 6 people join since I did the podcast yesterday. So more than welcome to come join. But someone on the Discord server who is from Poland and is very well connected in the scene there. We'll talk about some of the rumors about how Mar might be going to Resovia. But since then, I've heard other things about Resovia, so I'm not entirely sure. I'm just stirring the pot here. It's fun. Let's talk rumors in volleyball. Why not? So yeah, next up is going to be, let's head over to a team that actually has 2 Canadians, which is pretty great, and that is Ravenna. And Ravenna is a very young team, as you're going to see that 4-14. Why am I roster ranking? Why can't I think about a record? There we go. I knew it was an R word. Dang. Ravenna's, I guess I opened that a second, but right now you've got Eric Loeppky and Brandon Coppers. Now, Coppers has been coming off the bench for them. He kind of signed on as their 4th outside. There's been times where he's come in and done a very, very good job. He's been in 14 games, 31 sets, has scored 23 points. So there's been times when he's come in and done a very good job. Other times he's just come in and serving sub as well too. But hey, still getting minutes in Superliga, and in my opinion, he's been doing very good at making good use of his opportunities to kind of show what he can do, and that will lead to a better opportunity for him. So good job by Brandon Coppers, former McMaster Marauder, doing a good holding it down in Ravenna. But the main story in Ravenna will be this man right here. And I mean, if you don't know who he is, I don't know how you got here, to be perfectly honest. But Eric Loeppky, especially of late, has been absolutely lighting it up, has jumped into the top 20 of scoring. 22 points so far this season. You're going to see that he's hitting at a 43.8 hitting percentage with a 38% efficiency, which is pretty damn good. And recently, he has just gone on to another level. I think at the beginning of the year, their team is very, very young. Ravenna is very, very young, especially in their outside core. So you've got Giulio Pinali, who is in the top 10 of scoring. He's on the right side, but he's a little bit hit and miss. And then you've also got where's Recine here? Francesco Recine. And it's kind of the 3 of them. And obviously Pinali and Recine are both Italian, and they've played in Italy before, and they've been in that system. So it took Loeppky a little bit of time to adjust, but since then, man, he has been doing some disgusting things. And I think last game he hit this absolute bomb of a ball cross court inside the 3 meter line on a 3-man block on essentially no approach. It was just a 2-step approach. Just he closed up, thumb down, banged it cross court, and it was absolutely disgusting. He's already pulled out the fake with the right and tip with the left. And I mean, I don't know how long Loeppky is going to be a Canadian secret, how much longer he's going to be a Canadian secret, because, man, he is already making a name for himself. I don't know. I think only Stephen Maher has had this good of an intro into the Superliga, and it's been really, really fun to watch him kind of adjust to the game and really start to take over. It's going to be really interesting to see. I don't know what his contract situation is like. I don't know if it's a 1 year or 2 year or whatever it may be, but it's going to be really interesting to see if someone else who's bigger and better wants to pick him up, because Ravenna, it's frustrating sometimes. I think more recently, they've been kind of cluing in on how good he is and how much they need to focus on him, but it really seems to me like they favor the Italian players. And I mean, all the more to them. It is the Italian league. You're going to favor the players like Pinali and Rucine. And Rucine, I think his dad is something to do with like maybe the president of Perugia. So once again, this is all within the volleyball circles in Italy. So it makes sense that they're going to favor those guys. But, man, Loeppky has been doing some disgusting things this year already. And I mean, we've known it for a long time that this kid was going to be special, and he has not disappointed at all yet this year. So yeah, that is Ravenna, the second team in that we're going to cover here, and the third one is going to be Cisterna Volleyball, which has Arthur Szwarc. And I mean, I've been on the Arthur Szwarc bandwagon for a long time. If you remember some of the one volleyball videos, it was always wrapped up by Arthur Szwarc just absolutely bouncing a warm-up ball. And because dude's a beast, and he's kind of followed it up and done some really, really good things in the Superliga. I mentioned a little bit earlier, until recently, he was in the top 20 in scoring, and he was the only middle player in the top 20 in scoring. But still, we're going to still see him down here in 23rd. He's still the highest middle player in the Superliga right now in scoring overall. Now, I will have to say there is a caveat to this. He did spend a few matches playing on the right side, which meant a higher load. He's going to get more volume, but he still manages to get into the double digits most of the time. He is a threat offensively. Cisterna is in the basement right now. They only have, and despite only having one win, that's a little deceiving, because it doesn't matter. Like they're going to give you a hard time. Like that team with Randazzo on the left side, and you've got Kevin Tilley on the left side as well, Giulio Sabi on the right. They're like one step away, one player, whatever it is. I don't know if it's to me, I think they need something a little bit better on the right side. That's why I really liked when Szwarc was there, and they would be winning way more games. However, 1-18 for Cisterna. But Szwarc has been an absolutely huge star for them this year, and it's been a lot of fun to watch him kind of get better and just get a bit of an attitude. And I mean, I took some heat on the Discord a little bit a while ago, because I went on to a Deep Corner podcast with my boy Rob St. Clair, and I picked him as my all-time middle. I picked him and Kokinoski. But you know what? Hey, he is the top scoring middle right now. He is higher than Robert Landi Simon in scoring right now in the Superliga. So all of y'all can suck it. Yeah. Now, there is... All right, this is the part I don't like so much. There is one other player in the Superliga. And if you're only like a casual... Not a casual. I'm not going to say you're only a casual fan, but maybe volleyball's hard to follow. Maybe you love volleyball, and you just don't really follow it because it's difficult. And yeah, and you know that Shawn-Vernon Evans is playing for Perugia, and you're like, man, yeah, he must be killing it. Well, it's been tough because we've barely seen him. He started at the beginning of the year in the Supercopa. He got subbed out in the Supercopa finals for Ter Horst, the Dutch outside. He was supposed to be a left side, but is a big guy and kind of play both. And we have barely seen Shawn-Vernon Evans at all throughout the year. So much here. If we come to the Perugia stats, he's played in 17 games, which honestly is more than I thought. But that's definitely just been a serving sub most of the time, because he's only got 13 points on the season, and that is a little frustrating. I was hoping that he was going to be going to Perugia and was really going to blossom opposite of the best player in the world, and it seems like he's not even really been giving a shot, in my opinion. Now, obviously I've got opinions on it, but I think I've written kind of down a few notes about it all. I personally think, and I think I've talked about this before, is that Shawn is such a different type of volleyball player. Like the way he touches, like he touches 12.6.5, and that's such a ridiculous height. But because of the way his build is, he's long and lanky. And yes, he's powerful. He can hit bombs, and you've seen that from his serving as he's been able to rip a few big aces this year for Perugia. But he's not someone who's going to be hitting a quick offense. And I think that sometimes with setters that causes a bit of a problem. I think that's why we saw when he came in 2017, he was scoring more points with the A team in World League than he was a month before with the junior team at the Pan Am qualifiers, at the Junior Pan Am Cup. And I think that was really just because the ability to set at the A team level, to be able to set him, to be able to give him an up and down ball that gives him the ability to use the most of his shots. And I think that in Perugia, they're trying to run a faster offense, especially on the right side. Like Anastasevic, yes, he's tall and he's big, but he's very quick, especially his arm. Like they're gonna utilize that fast offense on the backside. And I think that the setter that they have in play is Dragan Trvica. And once again, this is just all hearsay, and from what I've heard, I've heard that maybe he's a little bit difficult sometimes, and that he's a little bit particular. And I think that maybe Trvica doesn't like the way that he needs to set Shawn for him to be efficient, and that there's maybe not some tension there, but it just doesn't work. It's been kind of weird when he comes into play, and it seems like he's just lacking a lot of confidence. And he's just not producing offensively like we've seen him be able to in the past. And as we know Shawn-Vernon Evans to be, the dominant player. And for me, I think personally, when I watch him play, I think he's trying to do too much. I think he's trying to take care of that first ball. And he's trying to show that he, maybe not try to show, but he's trying to be an all-around volleyball player. And I've talked about this before with the national team, where sometimes he maybe disappears and doesn't score as many points, but I've always said that he brings value in the way that he blocks, in the way that he sets out of the system, in the way that he's able to play defense even. If you look back to a guy like Gavin, if Gavin wasn't scoring offensively, which wasn't very often, he had a different mentality towards that kind of stuff. But, his blocking was average and his defense was maybe below par. Whereas, Shawn is a complete volleyball player. So oftentimes it looks to me like what's happening is that he's putting too much emphasis on playing that first ball and not an emphasis into getting into position to be a C-ball outlet or to be that right side outlet. And it's caused some problems for him, and it just doesn't put him in a good offensive position. And I've also seen a few times where kind of he's unsure whether he's trying to go play defense first or be offense first, and he's caught in the middle doing neither. So this, these are just my insights and why we haven't seen him, because I've received a bunch of messages, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or what have you, about why Shawn wasn't playing. And you know what? At the end of the day, I haven't spoken to him about it. I haven't contacted him about it. I haven't read anything about it, but I can just tell you what I saw. However, there is a few things to remember. Number one, he's only 22 years old. And I think that there's, he's been in the system and he's been a person in Canadian volleyball for so long that we forget that he's only 22, and that in a normal time he would still be finishing his last year of university. And you know what? So I think that there's still plenty of time for this type of stuff to happen. Second of all, he's at Perugia. He's with one of the best clubs, if not the best club in the world, training every single day with them. So there has to be something that said to that. So I don't think that this is a waste at all. He has a history as well of bouncing back. He has a history of maybe, I don't know if it's of a lack of preparation. Who knows? Once again, I haven't spoken to him about it. He has a history of bouncing back. And if you look back to his first year after high school when he went to the FTC, and, he openly told me that in the first half he struggled a little bit, and he really had to pick himself up and do so in the second half. And we saw the direct result with that 2 years ago when he played for Warsaw. And when at a certain point, a team folds, his team, Warsaw goes out and picks up Bartosz Kurek, and Shawn, who goes from being the second right side option on Stefan Antiga's Warsaw, goes to being the third. And I remember seeing photos of Shawn in street clothes behind, like in the crowd, watching games. And I was just like, oh no, this isn't going to end well. And by the end of that season, Shawn was scoring 20 plus points in playoff games en route to Warsaw's best ever finish in the Plusliga. So I think that he has that history and that he has that ability. And finally, the one thing I still, and I think this last part about all of it, and is quite possibly the most important. I just kind of want to watching, because he hasn't been playing, and obviously Perugia is still a team that I'm going to be watching because they've got the best player in the world. I think I've been watching him on the sidelines and in timeouts when he comes in, how the team interacts with him. And everything seems to be positive. He seems to be very well liked by the group. And even so, if we go over to Leon's Instagram, he's featured in a couple posts, and I've seen them, they get their hair cut together, they hang out. And it seems that Shawn is very much a part of that Perugia team. And whenever he gets subbed in, that there is a lot of love for him, and the communication. When you watch him on the sideline, whether it's talking to different guys or Leon or whatever it is, it seems like he's finding different ways to bring value. So yeah, it sucks that we haven't really been able to watch him play a lot this season. I would have liked to watch him play quite a bit more. Watching him bounce warm-up balls is great, but I want to see him on the court, and it's a little frustrating that we haven't been able to. But at the same time, I think that there's a lot of positives that can be kind of taken and seen from that situation. I don't know. That's just kind of my 2 cents on it. I think that once he comes back to the Canadian national team and lead up to the Olympics, he's going to be able to do just fine and work with our system well, and be one of the maple volleys that we know he can be. And I think that is it for me on the men's indoor side for Italy. We're already running at 23 minutes, so the chances that we're going to get to Germany and France in this are negligible. We're going to jump over to the women's side in Italy. Only 2 Canadians in Italy this year. One of them, Alicia Okums, she's played her first match this week, was signed earlier this week. She's playing for Florence. Looks like she came in, played a couple of sets, got 6 points, 5 kills, and a block. Good job, Alicia. Coming in for a Florence team that's singing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9th. I don't have come on, guys, help us out a little bit. Cried. I don't know if I should be swearing on here, but oh well. And then finally, the other athlete that we have in Italy has been Alexa Gray. And you know what? I think Busto has had a bit of a rough season, sitting at 7 and 9. I don't think that's where they saw themselves being. I thought they would see themselves being a little bit higher up. But you know what? We've definitely seen some good things from Alexa Gray. It took her a little bit of time. Ooh, that's Florence. A little bit of time to get going, but we've seen so far here, played in 15 matches, 206 points, second in team scoring. Once again, mostly I've seen them play in Champions League, and to me, I think once again you have a scenario where they are trying to favor a Canadian, or not a Canadian, an Italian athlete with Camilla Mongardi. And there's been times where, man, they're just setting her balls, and she's blowing balls out of bounds, and Alexa Gray's getting half the sets and putting up just as many points, if not more. But hey, that's the Italian league, and they're going to be able to do whatever they want to do. But still, you're going to be able to watch Alexa in Champions League. Actually, I think the first week of February. We can talk about that a little bit later. And yeah, I think that for Busto, they were hoping to have a better season. Obviously, last year they were in the top 3 because they got that direct birthright into the Champions League. But yeah, for whatever reason, it just hasn't really been working out. A bunch of teams swapped athletes, and the majority of Busto, I'm pretty sure, is playing for Novara now. But yeah, all right. I think that is it for Italy. If you have any questions about any of the athletes, any of the teams, when you can watch them, any of that kind of stuff, let me know. Be happy to answer it. So we're going to move on to Turkey now. And if you watched my kind of top 10, I did say that I think I undervalued Turkey. And having watched a little bit more of it this year, Turkey A is actually a very, very good league. There's a lot of teams in Turkey, right? There's this is way more teams in Turkey than there are in Italy. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 teams in Turkey, only 12 teams in Italy. So the bottom of the league is not that great, but the top of the league is pretty damn strong. And you've got some really, really good players who come and play in Turkey. So just here, if we get started, you'll come down here, you'll see Mr. Jay Blankenau, second team All-Star, or what I believe is second team All-Star. I'm not entirely sure how often they change this, but it is what it is. Also, you can check over here. See Fenerbahce, that is where we have Graham Vigrass and Nicholas Hogue playing for Fenerbahce. They're currently in first place, and I did mention that my honorable mentions, I think when I redo another top 15 power rankings, Fenerbahce definitely has to be in there. We'll have to see how they do in Champions League leading up to this week, but they definitely have to be there. Then down in third, we've got Arcus and Jay Blankenau, of course, head coach Monsieur Hogue. And then finally, Hulkbank sitting down here in fifth. But I don't know if this is wins. I'm guessing this must be wins. It's just not English. There's at different points of the season, Fenerbahce, Hulkbank, and Arcus have all led. Sorry, I didn't mention Hulkbank is where Brett Walsh is playing this year. So that is the fourth Canadian who is playing in Turkey this year. Going to go just to see some of their stats. That's back to the standings here at league leading Fenerbahce. We'll see Graham Vigrass, 146 points. Nick Hogue, 183. Both of them have been pretty much on the entire season for Fenerbahce. Just really not backing up, but the two big guys are obviously Salvador Hidalgo and then Toy Metten. And just, man, I've discovered it like Toy Metten and Mert Matic, a middle on Arcus, and Adis Lagumgia, who is outside for Monza this year. There's a lot more Turkish volleyball talent than I thought that was out there, and I think Turkey's kind of at that next level team to kind of make a run at things in the same way that Iran and Canada and Slovenia have done the past few years. I think Turkey may be leading up to that. I don't think that there's any coincidence either. The fact that Canada and Slovenia and now Turkey have all made runs, and the fact that Glenn Hogue is coached in Canada, Slovenia for Bled Ljubljana, which they've been different names at different times, and now Turkey. And it seems to me that he's very willing to share that wealth of knowledge to the team, the country that he's working with, because we've seen a number of times where different Turkish Turkish staff members from Arcus have come and worked with Team Canada. So yeah, just kind of another tidbit to remind you how Glenn Hoag is the godfather of Volleyball Canada, and one day we should all bow to him. Moving on to Arcus, as you can see, just a very balanced offense for Arcus, and as you would expect from a Glenn Hoag, Jay Blankenau run team. Jay Blankenau, of course, where is he? Where are you, Jay? Sitting down here, 49 points on the season, which, like, no one's surprised that Jay Blankenau is out there scoring points, whether from his serve or on the on-two ball, and really just leading this team. I personally don't think that, like, to me, Arcus is very similar to Modena this year in the Italian league, where they've got a very good setter and a very good system, and they've got decent players all around, but they don't really have that one guy who's really gonna kind of, that one guy who's gonna dominate. And their system really relies heavily on Jay Blankenau, with Jay Blankenau's ability to run that offense. And I mean, that's why they're so good. Finally, Halkbank, Brett Walsh, another Canadian guy, obviously 38 points so far. He's been there, as you can see, 70. He's played 70 sets of, I guess, 71, second most highest sets on the team, and has really just been leading them. They were leading the Turkish, what is it, Sigorta Eferler Ligi, and Sigorta apparently sponsors like half the teams. But yeah, I honestly haven't been able to watch that much of Brett Walsh this year. There's a lot of volleyball to watch and only a little bit of time and other things to do. But yeah, from everything I've seen so far, he's been having a really good season. I think Halkbank is playing in the Challenge Cup, if I'm not mistaken, so there might be some more opportunities to watch the former Golden Bear Brett Walsh do his thing there. You can also watch a bunch of the Turkish League on YouTube. It's just a little bit random, and it's tough to figure out sometimes. Even I haven't been able to. Most leagues I can figure out. Turkey's kind of a little bit all over the place. Moving forward, we're going to go to the women's side now. There's only 3 athletes playing for Canadian athletes playing in Turkey on the women's side. So first to start off, we've got at Nilüfer, we've got Emily Maglio. She's in her second year playing professionally, and Nilüfer not only has been a surprise team league, they're currently sitting in 5th, and the women's Turkish league is maybe one of the best. Fenerbahce, Eksabazi, Vakıfbank, those are all some of the best teams in the world. And Maglio has come in and done very, very well, as we've seen, 227 points. So far, second in the team in points. Sarah Grace, 456 points. That is absolutely monstrous. That's huge. That's a lot of volume to it. 894 sets across 80 sets this year. Dang, that's a lot. But yeah, Maglio has been having a very, very good season. We're seeing she's averaging 7 blocks a set, which is quite a bit. Almost at 1. Sorry, that was bad. And having a pretty good attacking year too, 48 hitting percentage and a 36% efficiency. For those who are questioning kind of the difference between hitting percentage and efficiency, hitting percentage is just your kills to total amount of attempts, whereas your efficiency is kills minus errors and blocks against your total. So that's why your efficiency is going to be a little bit lower, because everyone gets blocked. Everyone makes errors. Moving forward, the next athlete that we have in Turkey is going to be the Warrior. Look at this, 91 sets played for Jennifer Cross. Man, fucking hats off to her. That's absolutely massive. 170 points this year for the Scarborough native, 446% hitting percentage and a 37% efficiency. Just having a really, really good year right now in Turkey is Miss Jen Cross, and she's got a lot of stuff going on in her personal life. I'm always amazed just to see how she's able to just kind of like push stuff away and just be like, nah, let's go play ball. I'm going to go ball. And you know what? She has this year. As you can see, Third in her team is scoring, as you can see, some of these girls here putting up some big points, but has been a absolute warrior for them, leading them in sets. Well, along with Ileda Ukak. I don't know how to pronounce that. Someone who speaks Polish, or not Polish, Turkish. God, needs to teach me. But yeah, I think that is. Oh no, sorry, we do have one more Canadian. Victoria Gurel is down playing for Kuziboru. She's gotten into 61 sets, has 41 points this year. So coming in off the bench, pretty sure this is Gurel's first year, and pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, absolutely. Her and Shawn would have been a year younger. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just trying to remember all those years ago when we used to broadcast the OVA championships. One year we did the men's final, and yeah, Shawn was playing on the 17U Pac-Man team, and Gurel was playing for the 18U Leaside team. Just a little, go back to OVA players going to pro. All right, well, moving into the next league, we're going to move over to Poland, and this is where we have another rookie player who's been absolutely dropping bombs this year, and that's been Mrs. Kira Van Rijk, and you can see here she is tied for third in the Torliga for MVPs at 4. Now, MVPs are a little questionable sometimes. They're a little bit random, but you know what? Still, 4 MVPs has been massive. What's even bigger, though, is Kira Van Rijk is a central piece to a first place for Rajau team. Rajau? I don't know how to pronounce Polish either. It's Polish and Turkish are random. I can speak French perfectly fine. In Italian and Portuguese, Spanish, I can figure it out. But once you start bringing in, it's weird. Someone teach me. But yeah. They were undefeated for a long time. They did just suffer a couple of defeats, but still, the developers are doing really, really well this year. And if you come in to Miss Van Rijk's stats, you're going to see a few monster games, 32 points, 28 points, multiple over 20-point games. We've seen her kind of disappear a few times, and I don't think that's to be expected. Once again, she would be finishing her her last year of university right now, and she's currently in her second year of professional volleyball, still figuring it out. I know that definitely this team had very high expectations leading into the Champions League, and I also had high expectations for them leading into the Champions League, and they laid an absolute egg and went 0-3, and won't lie to you, Van Rijk did not look good. She just didn't seem like she was there, and we didn't really see her much at all this weekend, but honestly, we've been able to see her bounce back since then. I think that's kind of to be expected within a young player like that, where some games they're going to be able to bring it and be able to bring their entire arsenal and really show what they can do, whereas other times that it might just disappear and to kind of succumb to the moment a little bit, and those are just learning experiences, in the same way that we've talked about Shawn in that way. But yeah, I think also to note, man, Shawn's in his 4th year already playing professionally, and yeah, it's tough to not see him on the court. I want him to do well, and I want him to succeed, and I don't know if right now he's being given the opportunity to. Yeah, sorry, I don't really need to bring in Shawn when talking about Van Rijk, because Kira, she has been doing absolutely massive things this year. It's been a lot of fun to watch her play, and it looks like she's been having a lot of fun too. I think that's just a byproduct of playing for Stefan Antiga, man. I don't know, confirm it with me, yes or no, if you played for him, that Stefan Antiga might be one of the best coaches in the world. He's done great things. Won a world championship with Poland, brought Canada to their best result ever. Now he's leading, led Warsaw to their best result ever. Now he's leading on the women's side, and yeah, it's pretty impressive. All right, we're coming up on 40 minutes here, and I'm getting pretty hungry. So definitely, I don't think I'm going to jump into France and Germany, but France and Germany is another huge beast. Once we go into Germany, especially on the men's side, it's not talking about which players play for which teams. It's how many teams in the league contain Canadians and the things that they've been doing over there. So if I want to talk about France and Germany and maybe places like Greece, or we got a lot of guys in Denmark right now. Just other places. I want to be able to put some time into it. So right now we're gonna wrap things up, or slowly wrap things up with Russia, where the one and only Mr. Captain Canada, Gorod Perrin, is currently playing for Ufa Ural. And you know what? Russia is a tough league. Kuzbas with Ivan Zaitsev, obviously, St. Petersburg. All four of these teams are in my top 15 power rankings. And then, of course, Mr. 5-1 Volleyball, Daniel Manili had to tell me that he would have put Fackel in, which is torch here. And I agree. I kind of probably should have put Fackel in there as well. So that just shows, they are above Lokomotiv and just beat Lokomotiv, and Lokomotiv is a Champions League team. It just kind of shows you how good they have been doing and just how good that league is. And if we head over to the stats here, we're going to see that Perrin is actually 19th in overall scoring. And I mean, Messi Mujai number is 5th in scoring, and they rely on Perrin for so much more than just scoring whether it's passing or just overall presence on the court. I'm sure that if he was to be, subbed out, it wouldn't go. And even you see he's played more sets than Mujaj, right? 53 for Mujaj as opposed to 59 for Perrin. And Perrin's just been on the court for them and has been their anchor all season long. And yeah, what are we going to see here? 188 points in total this season. Averaging 3.19 points per set, which is really, really not bad. In my opinion, if you're averaging 3+ points a set, you're doing pretty good. I feel like 3+ points a set is almost like averaging 20 points a game in basketball. Is that fair to say? I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. 3 points, I'm scoring 9 points in a 3-setter. I don't know. It's tough to make that conversion. It really truly is. But I don't know. Maybe you can. We'll have to figure that out. Yeah, kind of figure out what we should figure that out. What we're figuring out, I'm not really sure. But yeah. All right. Just to kind of wrap things up here. Just to give a little bit of Champions League update. There is going to be some matches coming up feature Canadians. There's only one league playing this week. I think there's one men, one women's, but on the women's side there isn't any Canadians in it. But on the men's side, Fenerbahce is going to be playing, and they're going to be going up against Lindemans Aalst from Belgium, Skra and Zaksa Korzeczna of Poland. So they went 1-2 last time. They lost to both Polish teams, beat the Belgian team. So would be a good opportunity to watch at least one game of Nick Hogue and Graham Vigras if you don't want to buy the Eurovolley TV pass. But yeah, I'll have that on the website for you guys if you want. All right. Well, thank you very much for checking that out. I going to come back maybe Sunday to talk about Germany and France. As I said, plenty of players playing in both of those countries, both on the women and the men's side. So don't want to forget about them. Just don't know how much longer I can talk here. And then also might do a bit of a Champions League talk on Monday, just because why not? We're in quarantine and I can't go anywhere anyway. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming out. If you, once again, if you want to join our Discord chat, more than welcome. Head over to the website. The links are there. And if you want to, any questions or anything like that, just throw them in the comments below. All right. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.